What's up, gang? It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. You got it. You got that right. Okay, I'm on fire today, so let's talk about your vibe, which attracts your tribe. And noted that your marketing is, here, look, your marketing is the lifeblood of your business. Why? Not even because of the lead generation that it is, but because of the conversation that it is. Your marketing is the conversation you have with the world. And from that message and conversation you have with the world, you attract the kind of people that you want to work with, right? Now, the challenge with, let's just contrast this for a minute. If you don't have a message, if you don't have a conversation that others are engaging in, then what happens is the word of mouth thing happens, or random referrals happen. And I'm not saying those are bad. What I am saying is that word of mouth and referrals, people will come to you and you don't necessarily know where they fit or if they are from the same vibe, right? And so what can happen is you find yourself twisting and contorting to try to serve this lead that actually isn't a fit for what it is you do or how you do it, right? I'm coming off an experience like this today where, somebody found our business. They've paid us good money to work with us. But, we're weeks now down the road and it just keeps coming up that it's not a fit, right? It just keeps coming up. This isn't a fit. And in the past, what I would have tried to do is just make it work, right? I'll just force it. I'm thankful for the money. Thank you very much for the money. And we'll just make it work. But I've come to a space now where I'm not willing to, I just know where that's going. Like when you can trust your gut and you can just see like, okay, this is going to be a lot of this. This is going to be a lot more of the same of what it's been so far. Then I can just say like, okay, I love what you're up to in the world. I wish you all the best. I just don't think we're a fit, right? So the point is that lead, that client came not from my content, didn't come from my message. So there was never any leadership in that relationship. And it wasn't like we had connected on the conversation. They were just looking for somebody that could do what we do as a service. But when our service didn't match what they were looking for, then it became sort of difficult to find middle ground. So my point is that when you realize that marketing is the lifeblood of your business and your marketing is the conversation that attracts your tribe in the world, you start to see why it's so important to show up daily having a conversation. And it makes, my advice to you, when you get word of mouth business or referral business, that you have to find a way to pre-qualify those leads coming in so that there is alignment, there's connection, there's like a two-way street of respect and appreciation. That's what content does. Content creates respect and appreciation, right? Because the people who are consuming your content wouldn't keep consuming it if they didn't respect and appreciate it, right? And so when the people who consume your content come to you for help, there's already that respect and appreciation, right? It doesn't happen that way with referrals and word of mouth. So if you're in the word of mouth game or the referral game, or you get word of mouth and referral leads, then you want to find a way to front load before you ever decide to work with them, front load your content with them so that they can self-select whether they want to work with you or not. Like maybe they were referred to you, but you should just lead with your freak flag. You should just let your freak flag fly, right? So that people can get a sense of if they like your freak flag or not. Just because they were referred to you doesn't mean they're a good fit for you. And you're going to save yourself a lot. Like, here's the reality, gang. With this client, I'm going to refund their money, right? So 2 months worth of getting them set up, I'm going to refund their money, not just what they paid, but now my team has a bunch of costs. There's a bunch of, I'm going to absorb those costs and refund the money. So I'm not just out the money they paid me. I'm going to give them back all their money because that just feels like the right thing to do. So here's all your money and the money I spent on my team to be working over the last 2 months on your stuff, right? That's an expensive lesson for me. That if I had done more front loading of my content with this person, because they didn't come off my content. They came from a referral, right? So if I had front loaded that relationship with my freak flag, right? My who I am, how I do things, my sort of my MO, what I'm all about, then they could have self-selected whether that was a fit for them or not. Instead, what happened was I was excited to bring them in because I was excited to grow the business and excited for the lead and all that. And I probably could have known fairly early on that it would be in this place, right? Like, look, guys, that's the thing about the vibe, right? Like, not only do they get my vibe, but look, guys, we're human. We have instincts as human beings to get somebody else's vibe. And you know whether somebody else gets you or not. You're like, yeah, this person's my person, or this person's like not my person, right? You know that. The challenge is if we're hungry, if we're tight, if we want more cash flow, then what happens is we're like, hey, maybe let's try to make this work. Let's figure this out somehow, right? So it's that's the rub. Here's the silver lining. Like, if you're consistent in your marketing all the time and you keep leveling up the ways that you're getting your content in front of people, what happens is over time, you have a consistent flow of leads that come from your marketing because you've been consistent in your marketing. If you're not consistent in your marketing, well, then damn, you're stuck with whatever you get. And for most of us, that's not ideal. It's not ideal because you're hungry, you're gonna have to pay your bills, and you're gonna have to take what you get. But if you're consistent in your marketing, the compound effect of that is that you end up with people who want to work with you and already understand your vibe because you've been consistent in your content. So marketing for the rest of us, right? Like, what I'm saying to you now in this episode today is, if you're consistent in your marketing, your vibe will attract your tribe, and you can then be more discerning in who you let in, right? And you won't be as worried about whether this is a fit or not, because you will have consistent content going out into the world, knowing that there will be a reciprocal incoming of leads at some point with that content. So thanks for hanging out with me, gang. I'm going to circle back to your comments here in a minute. When I shut this down, I'll come back and circle around in your comments. But thanks for hanging out with me today. Join me tomorrow for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Until then, see ya.